What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the big news from Marcelo aka Hosstile, who is going back to the Open Bodybuilding, where he truly belongs after winning his first pro show this year in Classic Physique. And by the way, he also made his Olympia debut this year, and that was also in Classic. So I kind of read a funny comment that the only reason Marcelo did Classic Physique, that was to cheer his friend Ramondino at the Olympia this year. And if you guys haven't watched this particular clip, where Hosstile was jumping on the stage with so much excitement when Ramon was asked to move in the middle, then you kind of missed the funniest moment from this year's Olympia stage. So, what was the real reason for Hosstile going for Classic Physique this year? Maybe he wanted to give his system, his body, a much needed break, some downtime, because from all the gear, which is 100% needed to maintain that kind of muscle mass for the Open Bodybuilding, you 100% need to take a break, detox your system and let your body recover. So he was claiming all throughout the prep for Portugal Pro that he was natural, and the biggest reason of him making the weight successfully in Classic, according to him, was because he wasn't taking any stuff, any gear. So there should be zero doubt in anyone's mind that Hosstile is better off as an open guy compared to Classic Physique. And the proof is his physique at his last men's open show, the Big Man Weekend, last year, where he came in second behind Akeem Williams. Hosstile was looking pretty damn huge and also ripped to the bone in that show. And when he competed in Classic, his structure got more exposed. Because he doesn't have a small waistline, his upper body suffered a lot while making the weight cutoff, which just made his overall flow top to bottom kind of compromised. So I guess it's a good move in terms of where he wants to see his physique in the future. So we are about 3 weeks out from the Big Man Weekend, where Hosstile will be back to compete against the big boys. And looking back at his physique from Prague and the Big Man Weekend from last year, that was some impressive stuff from Hosstile. So what did you guys think of this move from Hosstile going back to the Open Bodybuilding just 8 weeks after making his Olympia debut in Classic? Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So let's just all hope that the rumors of Jan Pradells doing the upcoming Japan Pro, they are true, because there is a legit chance of him winning that show and getting a very early Olympia qualification. Because if that happens, Jan will set himself for an ideal case scenario for having a big off season, since he can use the entire year to put on some density and muscle maturity in different areas of his physique, especially his back. And he can have a very impactful Olympia debut in October. So he went from a guy about whom literally nobody was talking about to the biggest upcoming bodybuilding sensation in just under 3 weeks' time. And it isn't like he did one show and happened to be very good. He did 4 shows back to back, and he arguably improved from one show to the next one. And the media as well as the bodybuilding world, that was so impressed with that bone structure of Jan Pradells. He has those wide clavicles, ideal quads insertions, not to mention that sweep on his quads. That is beyond impressive. A super tiny waistline, and that's truly what you call an ideal structure, which takes so much space on the stage, who is so wide in any kind of lineup. And that is why he's gonna always stand out. Now we can all agree, if Jan was just a few percentage sharper in Poland this year, he probably would have won that show. I mean, some people out there even had him winning that show anyway. So if he continues to diet for 1 more week and he does Japan Pro, and if he ends the season on a very high note by winning Japan, then all he needs to do is to make sure he stays 100% healthy, because the guy is so young, and eventually he will be an Olympia competitor, and that too a big name in there. So the biggest accomplishment for Jan in 2025, that was convincing a lot of the fans as well as some of the judges that he almost beat, a truly genetic phenomena of this past decade, Keon Pearson, at this year's Prague. So Joan has till the morning of Monday to sign up for Japan Pro, and let's just hope that he does that.
I see a lot of bodybuilders over the years get really become very sensitive to feedback, right? But I want to change people's frame of mind when they think about criticism, as long as it's constructive, right? As you get more successful, you want to think of this stuff as like a tax you pay. Like the more money you make, the more you pay in taxes, or you're supposed to pay in taxes. But the more successful you get, the more criticism you're going to receive. And I think at a certain point as a professional, you need to learn to handle that criticism with grace.
So with that ongoing discussion of whether some of these IFBB pros, they have gotten more and more sensitive towards criticism, I just cannot ignore this message put out by one of the best in the world of bodybuilding, Terence Ruffin, on how to handle the heat. And it's so beautifully put together that the more success anyone has, the more are the chances that people are going to talk about you. We have an example of the former Olympia champion Samson Dauda, for instance. The fact is, if he fails to deliver, the experts, the media, they're obviously going to mention that. And how is that hate? So the same media that praises each and every one of these pros when they win or even bring their A game. And that is how it's supposed to be. This literally happens in every single sport out there. And I'm glad he also pointed out the importance of all these discussions on different platforms. Imagine if there was no one talking about the Olympia, the Arnold, or any of these other pro shows. Where will all the hype come from? Now, on the flip side, the fast and advanced pace of social media, that has definitely put some of these bodybuilders under lots of scrutiny.
The last thing I want to say before I forget is, yo, you want this type of stuff in the sport, right? If no one's talking about you, if no one's talking about the sport, then the sport is dead. You're not making any money. There's no opportunities in the world.
And the media and the bodybuilding pages, they also have to be careful not to put out unwarranted criticism. But I guess majority of them, they are just trying to contribute towards the sport. So what do you guys think of Terence's message? And should every IFBB, they try to adapt to this mentality? So some very impressive physique updates were posted by James Hollingshead just over 10 days out from this upcoming Japan Pro, which is gonna be his last show of this year, of this season. So he seems to be filling out very nicely. So this is going to be his second show with his current coach. And if all goes well, they will present a much better physique compared to what we saw at the British Grand Prix, where James actually looked pretty damn impressive, and it was probably the best of him that we saw in this entire year. But still, he did not get the placings that he was looking for. So, he's a former 2-time Olympian. So don't even think for a second that he wants to compete just for fun. He obviously wanna win. He wanna get back in that winner circle. And most importantly, he wants to get back to the biggest bodybuilding stage. So the one thing that has been very evident on why the judges, they aren't showing him love, that's his midsection. He doesn't have a good set of abs, which makes his front shots very vulnerable. But he does have a lot of detail and muscularity. So out of all the shows that James has done this year, this really is gonna be his best shot at getting his Olympia spot. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.